All right, 12C is on page 439 in your text if you'd like to take a look at it. It wants you to write each expression in the form a plus bi. So 12a, you're going to FOIL that and simplify it as best you can. 12b, you're going to distribute the negative sign and then combine like terms. So it'll be negative 3 plus 4i minus 3 minus 13i. And you should end up with negative 6 minus 9i in 12b. In 12a, you would FOIL and get negative 12, outside 24i, inside, what do you get here? Plus 6i, and then last times last is negative 12i squared. Okay? I wrote it like that for a reason. What can I do with 24i and 6i? Add them. You can add them together. What does negative 12i squared become? Plus 12. What's negative 12 plus 12? 0. So you just get 30i. So we're actually doing 12a, b, and c. C is the most difficult, though. Let's focus on it now. Ready for C? So you have 2 minus I on the top and 3 minus 4i on the bottom. What procedure do we incorporate to get rid of that unwanted denominator? Conjugate. Multiply top and bottom by the conjugate of the bottom. So if 3 minus 4i is in the bottom, what's its conjugate? 3 plus 4i. 2 minus I, 3 minus 4i. We need to multiply top and bottom by the conjugate. Why? To get rid of the imaginary part in the bottom. You don't want to divide by anything with I. So you want to turn that into a real number. And it's going to turn into a real number because when you do first times first, you'll get a real number. What? 9. When you do the outside, you'll get an imaginary 12i, but the inside will be minus 12i. So they'll go away. Well, you might be thinking, well, don't we still have an imaginary part on the end? No, because negative 4i times positive 4i is negative 16i squared, which just becomes positive 16. All right? So let's focus on the bottom first. First times first was 9. Last times last was minus 16i squared. Well, that's just 25 because this is 9 plus 16. The bottom turns into 25. The numerator is going to be a little uglier. It's going to be 3 times 2, 6. Outside, 8i, inside minus 3i. 8i minus 3i. 5i. Last times last, negative who I what? Negative 4i squared, which just becomes what? 4 plus 4. What's 6 plus 4 in most countries? 10 plus 5i. That's kind of an okay answer, but we typically split it into the real part over 25 plus 5 over 25 I. Can either of those reduce? Yeah. Reduce them. Does 5 go into 10? Twice. 5 goes into 25? 5 times. Plus 1/5 I. You know you could put your calculator into complex mode, type this in, and if it says 0.4 plus 0.2i, you did it right. If your answer just says 0.4 plus 0.2i, you'd probably get 1 out of 3 or 4 points on this. If you understand the process of the complex conjugate being used, 4 out of 4 points on this. So if you want to lose 4 points by just punching it into your calculator and giving an answer, great. But I'd rather you understand the whole process, the procedure of how it's working, and why we're trying to unimaginize the bottom.